Story time on how I found out that my ex-best friend had the biggest obsession with my boyfriend and how she still does. Okay, so this all started when we were still friends, and it started off pretty innocent, so I feel like I was blindsided. She would just like always ask me about him and like little innocent questions like, oh, like what is he doing today? Or how is he? And like stuff like that. And I honestly didn't think anything of it because I was just like, oh, she's just being a good friend, like making conversation, caring about my boyfriend. And then she followed him on like all his social medias and started liking all of his Instagram posts. To me, that's like still not weird because I'm just like, oh, like she's my best friend, like she's just like supporting, you know? And then she started like commenting on his Instagram posts and then started commenting on his TikToks. And I feel like this is when I started getting like kind of weirded out because I was like, what is the like, what's the correlation? And I don't know, but just me, like when my friends have a boyfriend, I don't like conversate with him. I don't have any connection with him unless if it's through her. Unless if there's like a specific situation or I need to ask him about her, like I don't know. And then he started to be like the topic of all of our conversations, and he would be like all we would talk about, and like 9 times out of 10 she would always start the conversations. And then I pointed it out to my boyfriend and I was like, do you just see this? Do you notice this? Like, am I being crazy? Do you think that she has like a little crush on you? And then my boyfriend was just kind of like, I don't know, like I don't really see it like it being that big of a deal, but like if it makes you uncomfortable, I understand. And then this is where it got weird and where it got like kind of serious. I was hanging out with another girl and my best friend and my boyfriend, and then after the hangout she goes, do you notice how like so and so always has something to say about him? And I was like, oh my gosh, like I've been literally saying this for weeks. And my boyfriend was just like, maybe I'm overthinking it. But when someone else came to me and said that she thinks that a girl is being weird about my boyfriend, like I'm like, what? And then this is where it got really weird and where it escalated. She asked him to hang out with her one-on-one. Like she had him added on Snap, and like that wasn't weird to me because like she added him like when we first started dating, and I wasn't weirded out about it because like I feel like every best friend does that. And it's just kind of like what if she needs to get in contact with him like about a surprise or like whatever the case may be. But then she snapped him and was like, hey, do you want to go get like ice cream or something? And he screenshotted, my boyfriend screenshotted it and sent it to me, and he was like, what the hell? And I was like, what the hell? That is so freaking weird. And basically my boyfriend called her out and was just like, that is so weird. Like, please don't text me anymore. Like, I am not comfortable with it. And I asked her about it at the next hangout. I was like, what is going on? Like, why are you texting him so much and all this and all that? And she was like, it's not even anything. Like, I just want to like be his friend and da 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 da. And I look over on her phone and she has him pinned on her Snapchat. And I'm just like, what? That is just so weird to me. And just with that alone, and just with her like always talking about him and stuff like that, like that's an obsession at that point. But anyways, guys, let me know if you want a part 2, and let me know if I'm being dramatic and reaching. But she definitely has something for him. But anyway, mwah, mwah.
I'm getting ready to go to a grad party. So it's for my cousin, but there's tea. So basically this cousin, we weren't really involved with them like growing up, but then freshman year I met him and we were like, you know, we like talked like cousins, like he talked with my friends, whatever. But he was like weird. Like honestly, he was pretty weird. But he was my cousin, so like, oh, whatever. Hold on. So basically, like, freshman, middle year went by, everything was fine. Like, he would talk to my friends. He was still weird, but, like, it was, like, whatever. So I joined a soccer team. Okay, I didn't make this, I was in cheer, but I didn't make this team called Stunt because I wasn't that good. So I didn't make it. So I had a midlife crisis, okay? I had a midlife crisis. And me and my friend were like, let's try out for soccer. I had never played soccer a day in my life. So she's like, let's play soccer. I'm like, okay. We tried out. She didn't make the team, but I made the team. And I was like, you know what? Her. I had no idea how to play soccer. So yeah, low-key, I read the bench. Like, I rode the bench. So one day, he was just like, he kept making fun of me. Like, I don't know. Like, he would pick on you, but it was to a point where it was like, okay, like, it's too much, you know? He would make fun of me about, oh, being a bench rider and all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. And then he was like, oh, like, I joined the basketball team or whatever. And he was the manager of the basketball team. He was the manager, right? And I made fun of him for that. And then I saw a TikTok on my For You page, and it was like when the team manager wants to play or something, and they throw an air ball. I went to a basketball game that he was playing at, and he finally decided to start playing. So he was actually on the team this time. He was on the team, and he had a free throw, and he shot, and it was a complete air ball. Like, it was literally so far away from the basket. Like, so I think I had sent him a video of that afterwards, and I was like, who's laughing now? And long story short, he went off on me. He was like, you're a fat and that's why you have no dad, that's why like nobody likes you and all this stuff. And that was the last time I talked to him. And like, you're gonna say that I have no dad, and then it's really bad, but like, I don't know. Anyway, all that happened, right? So then, fast forward, I did not talk to him. Years went by, I did not talk to him. Senior year, I kind of like, I don't talk to him, but I hang out with his brother and my other cousins, and I go over to his house, but I don't speak to him. So it's his grad party, and he does not want me there. But guess who's gonna show up? Me. Like, he's just rude. Like, he's literally just so disrespectful. He didn't even invite his own siblings to his graduation. Oh, mind you, when he was walking down to graduate, he was walking down the middle aisle. I said hi, and he was like, I'll show you all the video if you want to see it. He literally just like this, and when he was leaving, I was like, oh, congrats. And he just like, he went like that. Like, he went like that in my face. Like, he just got in my face, and I was like, oh my god. Like, I got scared because he's just rude. Like, but guess what? I'm still gonna show up because I'll go hang out with my other cousins, and honestly, I was invited. So guess what? I'm just gonna make him mad and ruin his day. Actually, I'm probably not gonna ruin his day, but he's not nice.
So a couple weeks ago, me and my friends were at my house, and we were like, okay, let's go to this other girl's house and hang out there. And then I told my mom, I was like, I'm gonna be back at like 11:30, 12, and she was like really sussed out because we were all drunk as fuck, and she knew it, and she was like, okay, whatever. So we go to that girl's house, I turn off my phone, and we pull up to this mansion an hour away. Sick as fuck, hot tub, pool, wine cellar, alcohol filled to the brim in the fridge. Literally the dream life. I was living my life, and there was like 10 people there. It was such a vibe. I was totally forgetting about my mom, and so were all my friends. They all had their phones turned off. It was perfect. Until we woke up in the morning to the cops at the door saying that me and my best friend had a missing persons report filed on us, and we were in a lot of trouble. So I go home grounded as hell, in so much trouble, but I said, hold on, the Mid-State Fair is in a couple days and I need to go. So I finesse the fuck out of this, and I'm able to go to the fair. So first night, perfect. Second night, so much fun. Blacked out every night. Third night is when it gets messy. The fair was fun until we ended up in an ambulance. I don't really know how. Anyways, we got discharged, and then we said, why would our night stop here when we could go to a party right now? I said, bet, let's go, and we pull up. We're not invited. No one really wants us there. I don't know whose house this is. I don't know anyone there, basically, but there's alk, there's music, let's go. We're not really vibing, but kind of vibing. We're just like all so drunk, and all of a sudden, my friends start stealing. And they ask, so basically the mom is there, and they ask the mom for a trash bag to steal. Which I don't know where this came from. My friend group is a little crazy, and so am I, so I'm like, okay, whatever, let's go. I did not partake in this at all. It was just my two friends, and I honestly didn't even know what was happening. The mom was really drunk and buff as hell, and I knew she was about to go down. So she cuts the music, points directly at me, which I'm not even standing anywhere near, I'm not even involved, and says, this psycho bitch is stealing my night. And I just knew I was cooked. And I started yelling at her. I was like, no, what the TF, I'm not. Like, I'm not stealing shit. And she goes, get the F out of my house, get the F out of my house. And I'm like, whatever. Okay, so I'm turn around and I'm starting to walk away. She runs up on me. Yeah, she runs up on me, yanks my shit back, and starts beating my ass. I'm trying to punch her. I'm not even knowing what's going on. Apparently, I got a few hits in. Definitely not, though, because she was strong as hell. And so we're just fighting for like a while. Finally, she stops, and I leave the house. And I end up on the ground, and she's on top of me. And I'm just like, what is even happening? I don't even know how it got to this point, because I was not trying to fight her at all. She was strong as hell. So I'm getting and my two friends that were like stealing knives, which they didn't actually even steal anything. They were just, I don't even know what was going on. They like went to the car, so they weren't even seeing this, but my other friends were like just gagged and they didn't even know what to do, so everyone was just watching this happen. So I think she got off me. I don't even know how it happened. I was so drunk, and so I get up, I'm like, fuck you, whatever. I go to the car. I'm in the trunk of the car. We start driving away. I'm in the trunk, and I cannot close the trunk for the life of me. So my friend is grabbing onto me, and I'm reaching out the trunk to grab the lever to close it, and something's in the way of the closing. So I'm closing. I try to close this about 10 times, and it will not close. I'm reaching out. My friend's grabbing me. I'm reaching out. I have the thing. I'm all the way out of the car, reaching out and grabbing it. The driver slams on the gas and I fly out of the back of the car. And I'm dragged across the damn concrete. Like, it was a genuine car crash. And, like, I'm fucked up from it, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gagged that this even happened. And everyone in the car is so gagged. I'm lying on the fucking street face down, like, dead. The kid that was driving didn't know that I was, like, trying to close it, so it wasn't his fault. But I get up, I strut in the car, and I say, give me the bottle and turn the music up. And that's exactly what happened. Okay. Next morning, I felt horrible, whatever. Obviously, I was, like, beat up and got into a car crash. But life moves on, and we went to the fair again, and then this is where it gets messy. So I pull up to my friend's house the next night, and they were at the fair the night before, like, blacked out. And I was like, I'm gonna black out tonight, like, let's do tonight. And, like, no one really wanted to, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll just do it myself. And so I drank a whole entire bottle of wine by myself, and then 3 buzz balls by myself. You can imagine where this went. My mom calls me and is like, I'm picking you up. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm fucked. I get in the car, I don't know what happens then, but this is what she said. I'm slurring my words, I can't talk, I'm fully blacked out. And she's like, are you drunk? And this really pisses me off. And if you know me, you know that I get really, really violent when I'm drunk, and it's not a good thing, but I'm crashing out fully on her. We get to my house. Somehow I'm pulling out my pepper spray on her and saying, I'm gonna beat your ass, and I'm trying to punch her, and basically just know of a lot of threats were made, and my brother had to detain me, and then I ran down the street, and then she found my 5 cards in my purse. So now I'm grounded as hell and emo.
Get ready with me while I explain stuff that my mom's crazy ex-husband did. Anytime that my mom would go out with me or any of her kids, he would get jealous and try to take her away from us. Like, anytime we would go out, he would text my mom and be like, where are you going? Oh, you didn't tell me you were going out. Anytime I was tanning in my backyard, we had cameras in my backyard. Anytime I was tanning, I would move the cameras because he has access to them. So he would text my mom and be like, why are the cameras moved? I'd be like, because my daughter's tanning. And then he would be like, okay, we'll move them back. Why do you want to see me in my bikini? One time my mom and him got into an argument, so he was sleeping, he had to sleep in my room, and he put all his clothes on my bed. And obviously I'm like, no, I want my room. So I moved his clothes, and I kept moving them back and forth, in and out, and he kept like moving them back. So one time he caught me moving them, and then he pushed me into the closet. So this was 2 separate times. So one time my mom and him got into an argument, and you know, I'm standing up for my mom, so I butt in and I'm like yelling at him too. And he comes up to me and pinches my arm so hard he left me a bruise on my arm. And another time they were arguing, and I don't know how this, he just pointed at me and my mom. He goes, I don't know if I can say this. Anyways, he was like, you're a whore and your mom's a whore. One time he told me if my mom ever died, he would marry me. He cheated on my mom probably more than 10 times throughout their marriage. He would never let my mom on his phone. He was really aggressive with my mom. Anytime they would argue, he would, you know, hit her and all that fun stuff. One time my mom and him were on the phone arguing, and he starts saying weird stuff like, oh, to my mom, he's like, oh, you're gonna see demons in the mirror and they're gonna eat you alive. I actually have a video of it, if anyone would like to see. So they were divorced and we were living in his house, and basically he told us he evicted us and then took my mom's car. So basically he was trying to put us on the streets, because how are you gonna tell us to move out but you're taking my mom's car? It was under his name, so he took it. Mind you, my mom has 2 kids with him. So basically you're asking for your kids to be homeless. One time he said he was going on a trip with his friends, and basically for the trip they all took one van. So they had the van parked at like a certain place, and we went to that place. The van was there and his car wasn't there. So basically the whole time he was cheating on my mom with this girl in Brazil. So he went to Brazil, cheated on my mom, and then when they got divorced, he illegally brought her here because she's on a nanny visa or something. Because I know that, because okay, if somebody not from America wants to come into America, they can if they are a nanny. It's so weird, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but yeah, she's not a nanny, and now they're married. So basically she's here illegally. Yeah, so basically he was just a huge narcissist and very abusive towards everybody in the house. He shut off the electricity sometimes. That's all I can think of right now, but thank you for watching.
Hi guys, get ready with me while I tell you guys how I told my family that I was pregnant with my brother's 20-year-old best friend. So here's a little bit of information. I was 15, he was 20. Obviously, it was wrong. At the time, I didn't think so. Anyways, at the time I told them I was pregnant, of course they're gonna ask by who, because I had no boyfriend, literally nothing. I was a homebody. I was even like not going to school at that time. So they're like, how the heck could that have happened that you got pregnant? Well, I ended up making up this whole story about this boy. I even named this boy. This boy's name was Nathan. I didn't know a Nathan at the time, so if your name was Nathan, you could have been my, like literally I made up a whole story of how I met this Nathan guy and how how he's the father of my child, this and that. So 3 months had passed, and they obviously thought it was this boy Nathan's baby. And my son's dad was actually out of town. My son's dad was out of town, and he ended up calling them. I didn't know he was going to tell them. Like, he kept telling me, oh, I'm going to tell them, I'm going to tell them. I kept telling him to wait. I was in the shower at this time. He was out of town. He ended up calling my mom. I was in the shower. I didn't know nothing else happening. I was, like, jamming out to music and everything. So he called my mom, right? I remember getting out of the shower. I sat there in the shower with a towel on. I went to go sit on the bed. My mom came in, and she was like, I effing knew it. That's how I knew that I was. My mom was so mad. She couldn't even look at me. She was, like, pacing back and forth, like, walking around the whole house. And she was, like, telling me, you're the one going to tell your dad. You're going to sit there and tell him what you did and this and that. And obviously, like, I was, like, I remember, like, just, like, sitting there and be like, oh, my gosh, my life just blew up. They didn't know that we had relations. They always suspected it, but they didn't know anything. So, like, for them to find this out, like, their mind was blown. They were devastated. This was kind of towards, like, the afternoon. So the night had came, and, like, everyone obviously was in their bed, everything, blah, blah. My mom ended up, like, just laying there. She told me that she was laying there and she couldn't keep it in, so she ended up telling my dad herself, because she didn't make me tell my dad that evening, and I didn't know she was gonna tell him that day. So she ended up not being able to keep it in, and she told him. I remember he barged into my room and he was so mad. There was so much yelling. My grandma and my uncle actually came that night. They came because everyone was so devastated and everyone, like, was just so disappointed. They were so angry and hurt. My uncle had to come and, like, contain my dad because, so, like, my son's dad had lived, like, a block away, and it took everything inside my dad to not go and beat his, because he was so mad, and my uncle was the one who, like, calmed him down. My grandma was there. Like, it was just so bad. At the time I was pregnant, so I was feeling so much emotions. I was feeling like angry at myself, like hurt. I felt so bad. Like, I felt so bad to see my family react that way. Like, you guys don't even understand. The guilt still eats me up to this day. Like, it's literally something that I'm in therapy for, but I felt so bad that night. So my brother's, who that was his best friend, he wasn't home at the time. He was actually out, like, somewhere in the mountains, because that's where he works. So he wasn't home at the time, so he didn't know for another, like, 2 weeks until he had came home. That's its own story. It's not really much, but honestly, I didn't want people to know about it. Like, not a lot of people knew about it because it was embarrassing to me. Like, I still to this day feel so embarrassed by this, but it's something that I'm taking into as, like, a learning experience. I go to therapy for now. I'm going to therapy for just things, and I have, like, learned to kind of live with it and accept it and understand that I was also just a child. I'm gonna just say this. At the time, I didn't know it was wrong. At the time, for my 15-year-old little self, from my 15-year-old little perspective, I didn't see it as something that was wrong. Looking back at it now, as gonna be his age, you know, when he first got with me, like, there's everything wrong with that. Like, it's literally illegal for a reason. Anyways, thanks for watching.
I'm going to tell you guys a story about this guy I was seeing a couple of years ago, and I want you to tell me when you spot the first red flag. Okay, so we go on a first date to a jazz bar. He brings me a rose. We stay until the bar closes. We laugh, kiki the whole night. We're, like, exchanging bad dad jokes. It's a total vibe. I'm like, this guy seems really nice. He immediately is like, I want to see you soon. What are you doing tomorrow? I'm like, okay, well, tomorrow I'm going to my friend's gig. She's a musician. He's like, can I come? I'm like, okay, cool. So he comes, he picks me up, takes me to the show, and he meets all my friends. My friends really like him. They say he seems really cool. I'm like, okay, he passes the friend test, second date, love that. What a vibe. The next day he hits me up. He's like, hey, what are you doing today? I would love to see you. I was like, well, today I'm going to IKEA. He's like, I'll come with you. So he comes with me to IKEA. We walk around, you know, I'm a millennial, very 500 Days of Summer coded in here. So it's just very cute for me. I get a nightstand. He comes back to my place, puts the nightstand together for me. It's really nice. I was like, wow, this guy is so sweet. The next day, he hits me up and he's like, what are you up to today? And my friend had another gig. So I was like, my friend's singing somewhere. He's like, hey, can I come? Sure, yeah. So he meets me there after church, and he comes and my friend sings, and it's really nice, and just had a good, you know. So by this time I've seen this guy, I think, like 5 days in a row. The next day, or 4 days, I don't know. Whatever. The next day, he hits me up and he's like, hey, can I bring you dinner? Are you hungry? And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, you totally can. So he comes over, he brings me dinner, and we're, like, watching Netflix while we eat. And we're watching this movie called, like, We Have a Ghost. And it's like a comedy horror film type thing. And I'm like, okay, I don't really like this. Can we turn it off? And he's like, yeah, I'm not feeling it either. Also, it's nothing like the real thing. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And that's when he tells me about the entity that he has attached to him. Tell me if you want a part 2.